So you could not crack your exam in the very first attempt. Okay, so what do you think happened? Like, what went wrong? I want you to just ask that question to yourself first. Like, make sure and be really honest with yourself here, okay? Like, did you skip any chapter? Did you try to give the exam in a haste because you were done with the torture, you just wanted to get over with it, you were in a haste to get that, certificate on your wall, so you were in a rush and you gave the exam really quick before you were 100% ready? Was that the reason? Did you half ass it, like didn't go all in, didn't do whatever it takes, but just wanted to try your luck? Is that what happened? Or did something go wrong on the day of the test, like during the exam? Did something bad happen, like you panicked or you got tensed up? Like, what exactly happened? I want you to, you know in a very calm mind, try to recall everything that had happened. Okay, also try to recall some of the questions, like how exactly did they ask, what made it a very difficult experience for you? Ask these questions to yourself first. Okay, I know you're probably overwhelmed right now, you're probably not in a state to think all these things. You're sad, you're frustrated, you're angry. I know, I can't even imagine what that would feel like, okay? Because I haven't experienced it. I cracked it in the very first attempt. So I don't know exactly what you're going through. I can't imagine that much. But I know it's not a very good feeling that you're going through right now, okay? So if you want, take a break, take a week or take a couple of days off. Don't think about these things, freshen up a little bit. Throw yourself a pity party if you have to, all right? But after that I want you to come right back, and this time I want you to attack this with a strategy. Have a strategy, have a game plan. Don't wing it, okay? And just because you failed in the very first attempt, don't think that it's over, okay? Don't think that, oh my god, I wasted so much money or so much time. No, 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 wait. Don't think all that. Don't go that route yet, okay? Maybe you were very close, or maybe, if you're honest with yourself, you might know that there must be something that you left out, or maybe you didn't take it very seriously, or maybe you had some exam kind of fear or something that made things go wrong at the last minute. First, try to find out what it is, okay? And if you gave your everything and still you failed, maybe what's going on in your head right now is, oh my god, again I'll have to go through the chapters, again I have to go through the torture, I have to pay a retake fee which is around $249 or something, right? Again I have to go through the entire stuff. No, that's not what you have to do now, because the good news is you have already done that, and you're probably very close to cracking the puzzle, right? You just have to find that missing part. Maybe there is a particular chapter or a particular topic that you're stuck, that you had a little bit of trouble while studying. Maybe you just have to work on that. Come up with a plan where you only focus on chapters or certain parts of the book which intuitively felt very difficult or challenging for you, right? And then go attack that. Now don't worry, this video is not going to be about a rant or some motivational stuff or a lecture or anything like that. I'm going to give you some real strategies that is going to help you crack the exam. If you're still going to write your exam, great. But if you have already given your exam and for some reason you failed, still this is going to help you, okay? So here's the thing. God, I'm so clumsy. I forgot to, make it silent. My mobile, that is. Anyways, very unprofessional, right? Bad lighting. I know. How do you guys even tolerate me? Alright, let's get to business, shall we? Here are some strategies. First thing is, you need to understand the game. You need to understand what ACE is thinking, what the examiner is thinking, what's going on in his head. Look, ACE has a reputation to keep, right? They don't want their trainers to go around hurting people or harming people and bringing their name, giving a bad rep. They don't want that, which means they are definitely going to ask you questions on client safety. They're definitely going to ask you questions on things where you can get sued because of some mistake or some dumb mistake that you're making, right? So what am I talking about? That's right, chapter 16, right? If you're following 6th edition book, chapter 16, the last chapter, that is where most people kind of get exhausted, because by the time you reach that chapter, you are like, I'm done. Okay, this is just professional stuff, legal stuff. I know this, I got this. Let me just quickly read through it and get that feeling, I finished the curriculum. Yay, right? Wrong. Don't do that. Chapter 16 is very important. You have a lot of stuff there. It's not just about professional stuff or legal stuff. There are a lot of small micro scenarios there, right? Which they can ask you a lot, question you a lot. Like if you're providing online coaching services, what is it that you should keep in mind? Talk to an attorney, all these things. These kind of questions will come. What else do you think ACE is going to ask you about? Like what differentiates ACE from other certifications or just being some basic certification? So ACE has this IFT model, right? That is there. Yes, that is unique about that. But apart from that, you have assessments. That is what makes you different. Think about it. I mean, we all have that friend who gives medical advice, right? Who tells you, oh, you have this pain, apply this cream and you'll be fine. Or take this painkiller. I had this, my friend also had this. Or you're having fever, why don't you take this particular tablet? We all have that friend, someone who is being nice to us. That is good. It's good to have people like that. I'm not, commenting on that. But you get my message, right? But who do we go to? We go to a doctor, right? And what's different or special about the doctor? Apart from the fact that they are certified and all that, it's the assessments, my friend. What does a doctor do? He checks you up, he finds out, what is your problem. He runs some tests on you and then prescribes the solution, right? So that's what makes you stand out. Therefore, the assessments are very important, which is basically your chapter 10 in 6th edition, right? All the assessments, you have to be thorough with all the assessments. It's not just chapter 10, even the assessment in chapter 8, right? Wherever you see assessments, make sure you know it like the back of your hand. It's super important. What else should you be focusing on? Adherence, self-efficacy, coaching, motivational interviewing. Think about it. You are not just a personal trainer, you are a coach, right? Psychology and all these tactics that you need to use on your clients to make them stick to the program is very important. Because anybody can come up with good exercises. I mean, YouTube is full of exercises. Why do they need you? Right? That's when you can help them stick to a particular program. That's when you become successful. That's when you can get them results. Which means they are going to ask you a lot of questions from, yes, chapter 3, chapter 4. Super important. Don't take it lightly. Even chapter 1 for that matter. Right? Your scope of practice related questions, what is most appropriate for you to do in a particular scenario, what you should not do, all these kind of questions. How do you make sure that your client is sticking to the program, which is adherence type questions, demographic variables, age, sex, income, all those things, right? What strategies can you use to help someone, self-monitoring approach, which you use in the action stage in chapter 4, right? What else? Stimulus control, which is also something that is mentioned in chapter 3. These kind of questions, chapter 3, chapter 4, all the assessments, chapter 16, chapter 1, these are your go-to chapters. You have to be sure that you know these things really well before you jump on that test. Don't think that just because you failed just now and if you give the exam really quick within the next couple of days, you're going to magically crack it. No, you're probably going to waste a bunch of money. Don't do that, right? Take a step back. Relax for a second. Look at this whole thing objectively. See what you did wrong. What went wrong? What is it that you skipped? And be honest with yourself. And then go attack those chapters. They're going to ask you a lot of questions about safety, about injury management, even injuries for that matter. What modifications will you be doing for a particular client? How will you progress from this exercise to another progression of this exercise? Or what would be a regression? That is also something that makes you special as a trainer, don't you think? I mean, if you can help someone do, whatever they want. Like if you have an exercise or a solution for every person out there, how cool is that, right? Someone who can't do push-ups, you can come up with a regression where they can still do some push-ups, but not the conservative way. Like for example, someone who can't do push-ups, I can make them do knee push-ups, I can make them do incline push-ups, I can make them do wall push-ups, right? So how you regress is very important, how you progress is also very important. So which chapter am I talking about when I say these things? Chapter 11 in your 6th edition, right? All the case studies chapter, you don't have to go through the case studies, but at least those scenarios. How do you progress? Velocity training, movement pattern progression for velocity training. Plyometrics, what are the progressions? Jumps in place, single linear jumps, multiple linear jumps, multi-directional jumps, hops and bounds, depth jumps, all those things are important, my friend. So next time you jump into the retake exam, when you're going for that next exam, make sure you know the material really well. And if you can get hold of some practice test, do some practice test. Check yourself. Knowing something is okay, is good, but you need to know what if they ask you in different angles, how will you attack it? Now I know it is very overwhelming. I know it's not your fault, because ACE exam, they keep changing the pattern, they keep experimenting, so that nobody can come up with a mock exam that is very similar to ACE. Not even the ACE practice test. Think about it. I know the exam is very different, but the good news is they are also very conceptual. If your concepts are clear, if you understand the material, you know the why behind what you're doing, you will pass the exam. Your score might go a little up or down, but you will clear the exam if you have all these things in mind, if you're taking care of these things. Like very simple example, if I give you the Thomas test. A lot of people learn the Thomas test really well, all the scenarios they know very well. But if I asked you why you're doing the Thomas test, I was surprised. Some people were thinking for a second, what was the Thomas test about? That's a sign. That's a sign that you don't know the why behind what you're doing. Thomas test is for your hip flexors. It is for testing the flexibility of your hip flexors. And even there, you're not testing the leg that you're hugging to your chest. You're testing the hip flexor of the other leg that is free. Even this, a lot of people miss out. Right? So it is important that you understand the material. Whatever you have studied, make sure you have retained it really well. You understand that really well before jumping into that retake exam. And if this helps at all, let me also tell you that a lot of trainers who have given their exam second time and cleared their exam, they have actually become much better trainers. They are actually doing a great job even in their career wise, because when you take the exam for a second time, you are like serious. Now you go all in. You don't leave any stone unturned, right? And you try to grasp the concepts, not just the material. And that's what makes you a really good trainer, right? As in, that's not the only thing, but at least that makes you more knowledgeable and in a position to help more people. Genuinely think about it, right? So don't take this as a just look at it as a small hiccup. This will pass. Okay, take it in a little bit. If you have to take a break, a couple of days break, do it. Whatever works for you, do it, but then jump right back into it. Okay, you didn't come this far to quit. You have to get that. You have to get this thing out of your way. You have to clear this exam. Cool. All the best. More power to you for not giving up.